international coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Ken Cruz, coming to you from Fort Washington, Maryland. Tonight we have live updates from several of our correspondents from across the U.S. and Latin America. May Davila in Ciudad de Panama.
Panama gradually eases to its new normal with a modified set of guidelines.
Danica Era Peralta in Medellin, Colombia.
Controls on access roads to Medellin intensified to prevent new cases of coronavirus.
Imran Ramos in Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. extends public health emergency, and Mayor Bowser releases her fiscal year 2021 budget.
EJ Gonzalez in Alexandria, Virginia.
Virginia's latest news for COVID-19 testing, and Health Commissioner reveals 2020 Public Health Nurse of the Year.
Maya Manzano Guarzon in Sicklerville.
New Jersey to reopen more outdoor recreation after reopening Jersey Shore beaches.
Myla Sindula in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
State of Delaware is now allowing church services with no more than 30% capacity.
And Maricar Borja in North Hills, California.
Salute to Heroes pays tribute to frontline responders and staff currently battling COVID-19.
Plus, tonight we'll learn how to make our homes more eco-friendly. And since summer is around the corner, time for some refreshing hot weather. Find out later how to make some old-fashioned lemonade. But first, an overview of how the world looks now. According to Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, May 18, 2020, the number of COVID-19 reported cases worldwide is now more than 4,700,000. This includes more than 1,400,000 in the U.S. and more than 78,000 in Canada. Sadly, this virus has claimed more than 316,000 lives worldwide. The number includes more than 89,000 deaths in the U.S. and close to 6,000 in Canada. Our coverage begins now. Panama gradually eases to the new normal with a modified set of guidelines. May Davila in Ciudad de Panama reports.
Hola, Ken. Since last March, when the executive declared a state of national emergency, Panama has been implementing strict quarantine measures throughout the country. Classes have been suspended, airports and beaches closed, construction paralyzed, and commercial, industrial, and service activities restricted, except for those linked mainly to food supplies. People were only allowed to go out for 1 hour to buy their basic necessities plus an hour window time for traveling to and from their destination, depending on the last number of their cedula or national ID and gender. Last Wednesday, a team of the government and scientists presented the guidelines they designed to achieve the return to the new normal in an orderly, gradual, and safe manner after the pandemic by COVID-19. With this, they announced the reopening of the first block of commercial sectors in the country. This includes local e-commerce or online sales, mechanical workshops, artisanal fishing, and industrial aquaculture, plumbers, electricians, and technical services such as maintenance of air conditioners, elevators, and pool maintenance. According to the guidelines, companies must comply with these 5 points to be developed in their protocols. First, the organization of a special health and hygiene committee in each public or private institution. Second, they must also apply measures among their collaborators and clients such as hand washing and use of alcohol gel. Third, the use of masks. Fourth, physical distance of at least 2 meters between people, cleaning and disinfection of areas. Fifth, the sanitary measures that all sectors must maintain at the time of its reopening, compliance with quarantine measures, mobility restrictions by gender and ID number, and compliance with sanitary fences. According to the guidelines, companies must establish special hours, avoid the presence of vulnerable groups such as those over 60 and pregnant women in workplaces, as well as monitor the temperature of employees and clients. The Minister of Health, Rosario Turner, announced a decree allowing 1 child per family to go out to do outdoor activities in the 2 hours allowed according to the last number of the father, mother, or guardian's ID. parents were asked to teach their children the importance of cleaning their toys and shoes or slippers and bathing when they return inside the home. It was also clarified that children can go with their parents to shops at the supermarket or other places. As of today, the Ministry of Health, or MINSA, announced that outdoor activities may resume as long as they are outdoor sports activities may resume as long as they are near the perimeter of the home and only individually on the dates and time allowed for people according to gender and last number of cedula or national ID. According to the MINSA, in order to lift the quarantine restrictions and go to the next stages, it will be important to maintain the behavior regarding sanitary measures to prevent the spread of the virus. The opening of open spaces such as parks, mass transportation, restaurants, and schools will depend on an evaluation based on the Effective Transmission Index or RT and the installed capacity of the national health system among other factors. To date, according to the latest report from the health authorities, the Effective Transmission Index in Panama is 1.02. There are 9,726 cases of coronavirus. Of this, a total of 6,085 are clinically recovered and 279 deceased. Desde Ciudad de Panama, May Davila, Eagle News, vivimos en tiempos interesantes.
Gracias, May. So as a mom, what are your apprehensions as the country slowly eases pandemic restrictions?
Although the government now allows children to go out for 1 hour with a parent, I'm still not confident enough to let my children play outside of our home because unless we already have the vaccine for the coronavirus, because two of my kids are immunocompromised. My youngest is only 1 year old and my second son has asthma. So I don't want to risk their health over just 1 hour of playing outside.
Absolutely. Are there actually children playing outside at the moment?
The other day when I went out to buy groceries, I saw a mom and her daughter playing outside, but that's all. There are no other kids outside.
So the other parents, I'm guessing, have the same thoughts as you, being a little bit more cautious. But
Yes.
setting those those apprehensions aside, what do you look forward to once things are less restricted in your part of the world?
Well, one of our favorite bonding activities for our family is going to the park because there's a park that's near our home here. And we usually go there. We just walk from our home to the park, and the kids would play. My two sons would play soccer there or football here in Panama, and my youngest would play at the swing or at the other equipments at the park. And most of all, that we really miss is going to the church and worshiping with our brothers and sisters there.
Well, mate, here's to looking forward to getting to play soccer or football soon and getting to worship soon for you. Gracias.
Yes. Gracias, Ken.
Controls on access roads to Medellin intensified to prevent new cases of coronavirus. Janica Era Peralta reports.
Gracias, Ken. Quarantine that was supposedly to end on May 11th has been extended to May 25th, yet many residents are now allowed to work. Inevitably, citizens are still doubting the safety of going back to work, but due to the necessity to make a living, they have to work to get paid. Since many residents are now back to the workforce, some have returned back to their home provinces and/or cities. Authorities take the temperature of the drivers and review their driving licenses. Mayor Daniel Quintero announced that the measure seeks to avoid contagion of coronavirus, so checkpoints are being carried out at tolls and terminals. Likewise, citizens who come to the Antioquia capital from other departments of the country must register to the platform Medellin Takes Care of Me and isolate themselves for 15 days. Quintero said, quote, "We have taken both preventive actions in the transport terminals and in the tolls, where there will be personnel from the National Police who will verify that people who enter the city are exempt from the measures. With this strategy led by the Antioquia government of health checkpoints, we want to reach those points with the greatest influx of people and vehicles. The idea is to invite them to register on the Medellin Takes Care of Me platform. Captain Daisy Aponte, head of the prevention unit of the Abura Valley Metropolitan Police, said, quote, "We are doing a review of the temperature of the documents and authorizations with which they are entering the city. The measure seeks to prevent outbreaks of COVID-19 contagion from other cities." Aponte added, quote, "That is why it is so important to know who is entering and what is the reason. To date, in the capital of Antioquia, there are 491 cases. In Colombia itself, there are 15,574. There are 574 deaths and 3,751 recovered patients. In Medellin, Colombia, Janica Ira Peralta, Eagle News, vivimos en tiempos interesantes.
Gracias, Danica. So as people return back to work, how are those in your area responding?
Well, mostly are scared because they need to make a living, and in order to do that, they need to go to their workplace, and public transport isn't really safe. They have to ride either buses or metro stations, and just by that, you can see that there's a high percentage that a person can get the coronavirus. But they still wear preventive, like masks, gloves, just in order to make it safe to their workplace, and not.
How about yourself? I was going to ask, how about yourself? Do you need to go to work? Do you need to go to work, or do you need to go to school anytime soon?
I'm still a student, and luckily I'm homeschooled, so I don't need to go anywhere. I'm staying inside and taking preventive measures.
That's great. But how about if you look outside your window? Are the streets empty, or are they starting to get full again?
Mostly empty, but you can see a few cars pass by.
Well, here's to hoping that your side of the world becomes more safe, and when it's time to go outside, things are better for you. Gracias, Janica.
Likewise, thank you.
When we come back, more COVID-19 updates from our Eagle News correspondents. We'll return shortly. Stay with us.
Iba't iba man ang pinanggalingan, iisa lang ang pinangahawakan. Ang pangarap na makilala sa kanilang larangan. Mas titindi pa ang performances ng ating mga TNG aspirants dito lang sa pinakabago at pinakamalaking talent competition ng Philippine Television. Ito ang...
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Kubert, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Kubert, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International. Fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint. Colorful protection for your home. Matimco. Matimco is wood. Wood is Matimco. Our Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer. Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
The successful development of TPLEX, or Tarlac-Pangasinan-La Union Expressway in 2009, a 4-lane toll road that extends from Tarlac City to Rosario, La Union, with an additional approved extension of 56 kilometers all the way to San Juan, La Union. This is expected to reduce travel time to Baguio and other provinces in northern Luzon. Realizing the vision of creating a better world for Filipinos fueled the team's focus.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus introduced to humans for the first time. It is spread from person to person, mainly through the droplets produced when an infected person speaks, coughs, or sneezes. These droplets can land in the mouths or noses of people who are nearby. These droplets are too heavy to travel far in the air. They only travel approximately 1 meter and quickly settle on surfaces. This is the reason person-to-person spread is happening mainly between close contacts. The exact time that the virus can survive on surfaces is not yet known. So it is wise to clean surfaces regularly, particularly in the vicinity of people infected with COVID-19. Hands touch many surfaces, which can be contaminated with the virus. You should therefore avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, since contaminated hands can transfer the virus from the surface to yourself. When coughing or sneezing, cover your mouth and nose with the bend of your elbow or use a disposable tissue. If a tissue is used, discard it immediately into a closed bin. The most effective way to prevent the spread of the new coronavirus is to clean your hands frequently with an alcohol-based hand rub or soap and water. This will eliminate the virus if it is on your hands. Stay healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Bakit naman? Ang raw materials daw ng mask at tissue products ay iisa lang. Saan naman galing ang balitang yan? Ay basta, narinig ko lang din. Maraming din kayang nagpo-post sa Facebook at Twitter, kaya kung ako sa'yo, kumuha ka na din. Sige na't mauna na ako sa'yo
Huwag basta-basta magpaniwala sa mga nakikita
o nababasa sa social media.
Magsaliksik at i-verify ang lahat ng impormasyon.
Nakukuha sa internet.
Tandaan, maging responsable tayo sa paggamit ng social media
nang hindi magdulot ng panik sa iba.
Kung paanong dapat labanan ng COVID-19.
Ay gayon din ang ating pagsugpo
sa black propaganda
at maling impormasyon.
Dennis Lu,
Lou Omelda,
General Partosa,
Tyranel Pililu,
Hannibal Arevalo,
EBC,
Japan, Euro. We live in interesting times.
Nahaharap sa matinding krisis ang buong mundo dahil sa coronavirus disease o COVID-19. Pangunahing tumutugon sa pangangailangan na masugpo at mapigilan ang pagkalat nito ang mga frontliner. Sila ang mga doktor, nurse, pulis, sundalo, at mga kawani ng iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno na tumutulong sa pagsugpo nito. Sa harap ng lahat ng ito, lahat kami dito sa Eagle Broadcasting Corporation ay nagpapaabot ng mensahe ng aming marubdob at buong pusong suporta sa lahat ng frontliners na handang ibigay ang kanilang oras, panahon, at buhay para lamang masolusyonan ito.
Sa atin po mga frontliners laban dito sa COVID-19, napakalaking pagsubok po sa ating bansa. Di dahil sa inyo, nako, baka kumalat na po ng mas marami pa ang naturang sakit ito pong COVID-19. Kasama po kayo sa aming panalangin. Sana po patuloy tayo, mapagtagumpayan natin at kaya natin itong problema ng COVID-19.
Ay, sa lahat po ng ating mga frontliners na walang sawang tumutulong para malabanan ang COVID-19, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Kung hindi po dahil sa inyo ay malamang kumalat na po or mas marami pa yung nagkaroon ng sakit na ito. Kaya naman, mag-ingat po kayo lagi at maraming salamat.
At syempre, nagpapasalamat po kami, hindi lang po ako, syempre lahat ng mga Pilipino sa inyo dahil sa kabila man ng malayo kayo sa inyong pamilya at medyo risky ang inyong ginagawa dahil kayo nga ay malapit sa virus, ginagawa nyo pa rin po yung inyong tungkulin. Ingat-ingat po kayo at saludo po kami sa inyo. Salamat.
Buong puso po kami nagpapasalamat sa ating mga frontliners na walang sawang nagbibigay ng kanilang serbisyo sa paglaban sa COVID-19. Mabuhay po kayo.
Sa kabila ng panganib, nagpapatuloy sila sa pagbibigay ng kanilang serbisyo.
Maraming salamat po. Kayo po ang ating mga bayani sa panahon na ito. Hindi man po armas ang hawak ninyo, kayo po ang nagtatanggol sa ating bayan. Sana po ay magtuloy-tuloy po at nasa likod po ninyo kaming nandito sa Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Nagpapasalamat po kami ng marami sa inyo. Tulad po namin na kami rin na nasa media, kabilang din sa mga nasa front lines, ay sama-sama po natin labanan itong COVID-19 na ito upang patuloy po tayong magkaroon ng ligtas at mapayapang pamumuhay habang ito pong virus na ito ay patuloy pa rin lumalagana. Pero sana ay lagi po tayong mag-iingat upang sa ganun, hindi na po madagdagan pa yung bilang ng mga nagkakaroon itong virus na ito.
Saludo po kami sa inyong matapang at matapat na paninindigan.
And for our personnel na nasa frontliners nitong ating laban sa COVID-19, we commend you po for all your efforts and we thank you dahil sa inire-risk din ninyo yung inyong mga sariling kalusugan para harapin itong problemang ito ng ating bansa. At hindi ninyo inaalintana kahit na maapektuhan din kayo dahil ginagampanan ninyo ang inyong gawain para pangalagaan ng kalusugan ng mga Pilipino.
Mabuhay po kayong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Protektahan ang sarili laban sa coronavirus disease o COVID-19.
Narito ang ilang paalala.
Takpan ang ilong at bibig sa tuwing babahing at uubo. Gamitin ang looban ng siko. Kung gagamit naman ng tissue, ay tiyaking maitapon ito agad sa tamang basurahan. Iwasang hawakan ang ilong o bibig. Ugaliing maghugas ng mga kamay gamit ang sabon at umaagos na tubig o magpahid ng alcohol-based sanitizer.
Gumamit ng face mask kung ikaw ay may ubot sipon. O kaya naman ay may inaalaga ang pasyente na mayroong simptomas ng respiratory illness. Itapon ng gamit na face mask sa tamang basurahan.
Sundin ang social distancing. Panatilihin ang 1 metrong layo mula sa ibang tao, lalo na kapag nasa labas ng bahay. Kung maaari ay umiwas muna sa mga matataong lugar.
Laging tandaan, mahalaga ang kalinisan upang sakit ay maiwasan.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News. I'm Ken Cruz here in Fort Washington. Washington, D.C. extends public health emergency and Mayor Bowser releases her fiscal year 2021 budget. Island Ramos in Washington, D.C. has the details.
Thank you, Ken. As the temperature rises and there is plenty of news of cities and states reopening, all of us are eager to go outside and enjoy the weather. But residents in Washington, D.C. should be mindful of what is open and what is closed. Based on Department of Parks and Recreation website of Washington, D.C., it is stated in bold letters the following, quote, all DPR facilities, including recreation centers, aquatic centers, playgrounds, parks, athletic fields, courts, and all other outdoor spaces are closed until further notice. However, according to the National Park Services, outdoor memorials and spaces at National Mall and Memorial Parks remain accessible to the public with the exception of some sites like the Washington Monument or the Ford Theater National Historic Site. Planning to jog or get a breather? NPS in their website urges visitors to continue to practice leave no trace principles, including pack in and pack out, to keep outdoor spaces safer and healthier. So before venturing outdoors and enjoying what DC has to offer, always check for the latest updates, whether it be with the National Park Services or with the Mayor's Office. We should not be disheartened, though, because the district continues to prepare for the eventual reopening, #ReopenDC. Check online, call if you have to, and remember that certain parts of Washington, D.C. could open up. As we know or should know, the mayor extended the public health emergency and stay-at-home order until June 8, 2020. So far, the data as of May 17, 2020, the district has added 147 new positive cases, bringing the total to 7,270 and 9 more deaths to a total of 392 fatalities. Before we can begin a phased reopening in DC, the district must meet the following guidelines as what reported last time. 1. COVID-19 case decline. 2. Testing capacity. 3. Healthcare system capacity. And number 4, the public health system capacity. I think I speak for so many people when I say that we hope to meet this criteria as soon as possible. In the past, we might have taken a simple walk in the park for granted, and now it's all we think about and look forward to. Also today, May 18, Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C. held a live budget presentation and introduced her budget for fiscal year 2021. The COVID-19 pandemic obviously has a great impact on this proposed budget. This is what Mayor Bowser wrote in an executive summary released by her office. Quote, despite a substantial loss of revenue to the global coronavirus pandemic, the fiscal year 2021 budget proposal continues to make significant investments in district residents. This budget supports the priorities and values of our residents by making critical investments in our public health infrastructure, affordable housing, and public schools. With a focus on health, opportunity, prosperity, and equity, this budget provides a sense of hope that even in times of unprecedented crisis, we can live up to our DC values and provide every Washingtonian with a fair shot at pathways to the middle class. With so much economic uncertainty and since so many people are hurting financially, it's nice to know that some of our leaders are still investing in their constituents. Let's hope that they can follow through on their proposals. In Washington, D.C., I'm Malin Bondoc Ramos. Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Ken.
Thank you, Annalyn. So, any idea on how far we are in meeting the criteria set forth by the mayor of DC?
Well, based on the situational update that is updated frequently on the mayor's website, it appears that we are still far from meeting all of the criteria. For example, one of the criteria is a 14-day sustained decrease in community spread. Based on the statistics put out by the mayor's office, we have had at one point a 5-day decrease, but that number has once again increased. And so we are effectively restarting the clock on a sustained decrease in community spread. We've met some criteria, but not all. Ken?
Well, I mean, it looks like each of the states, even though they said that they're going to have a joint effort, have different goals, right? So like Maryland and Virginia, your neighboring states, are restarting, while DC is being a little more on the reserved and cautious side. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, looking forward to hopefully seeing everyone outdoors, maybe soon, hopefully sooner than later, Emily. Thank you so much for your report.
Yes, you have to visit the National Mall if you're near there anyway. You're in Maryland, so it's just near.
Yeah, well, that's if the metro is working, right? I mean,
yeah.
We don't know when these schedules are happening. That, and it's kind of sad that summertime is already around the corner and we're all stuck in. But what can you do?
It's good weather, and it's sad. It's sad, but now it's better to be safe than sorry.
Highly agreed. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
Virginia's latest for COVID-19 testing and health commissioner reveals 2020 Public Health Nurse of the Year. EJ Gonzalez in Alexandra has the details.
Thanks, Ken. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, in a letter to the Virginia Congressional Delegation dated May 14th, pushed for increased COVID-19 testing in two federally run detention facilities, the Farmville and Caroline County Detention Centers. The Commonwealth has limited authority to enter these two centers that are operated by the federal government. These facilities have settings where large groups are often in close proximity to each other, prone to the spread of COVID-19. The governor says that state health officials are ready to help federal government, as the Virginia Department of Health is already supporting point surveillance surveys in other congregate settings, such as long-term care facilities and correctional facilities. In the letter, Governor Northam expressed his concern, claiming, quote, increased testing will help to slow the spread by identifying those in the facility that need to be isolated and treated, and prevented from getting out into the communities where the facility is located. The Virginia Department of Health released testing data broken out of PCR tests and antibody tests. On the day of the release, antibody tests made up less than 9% of overall tests. When these tests are removed from total results, there is minimal change in the percentage of positive tests and no difference in overall trends. The Virginia Department of Health defines a case as confirmed when there's a positive PCR test. In the past 3 weeks, the number of antibody tests being utilized has increased. To relay accurate testing results, the Virginia Department of Health will now provide a breakdown of the COVID-19 test data by all test types and by only PCR tests. And lastly, also on May 14th, the State Health Commissioner Dr. M. Norman Oliver presented the Virginia Department of Health 2020 Public Health Nurse of the Year Award to Amber Harmon. Harmon is a senior public health nurse in the Communicable Disease Department at the Peninsula Health District. Dr. Oliver exemplified Harmon's dedication by saying, quote, "Amber represents the outstanding work our public health nurses here in Virginia do. She understands the standards of public health and integrates them into her daily practice." Harmon has been in the Peninsula Health District for 3 years. Her colleagues describe her as a dedicated public health person who leads by example and someone who has a special talent for knowing exactly what is needed. The past year, she led the charge during an investigation of a contagious virus at the city jail, and more recently, she is working on the front lines of the COVID-19 response. Unending concern for the citizens' well-being is continuously on the minds of our government and frontline workers. As more days and weeks pass by, they are taking this pandemic head-on and are adapting new best practices to ensure the health of everyone. They're doing their part, and we should do the same by continuing to stay socially distant and healthy. Together, we can flatten the curve and defeat this pandemic. In Alexandria, Virginia, EJ Gonzalez, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Appreciate it, EJ. So in the topic of the public's health nurse of the year there in Virginia, during this global crisis, health workers like our nurses, they're the frontliners of this fight. I believe your aunt is a nurse, right? So how are you guys supporting her as she goes to work, on the front line on a daily basis?
Yeah, our family has different group chats to check up on each other, so we always hear how each other is doing. We're doing our part by staying at home, in order to help flatten that curve. But most of all, of course, the most we can do is pray for our relatives' health and safety, since they're exposed to the threats of the pandemic every day. But no matter what, we have no doubt that God will keep them safe.
Absolutely. Hoping your aunt remains safe as she continues to work. And on the lighter side, I know you're an avid golfer. When are you looking to go out and, get your golf game back in?
Yeah, here in Virginia, they're saying June 10 is when they'll lift the restrictions, but it's always like May said, it's better to be safe than sorry. So whenever I can see that it's really getting back to normal, I think that's when I'll get the courage to go out there and golf. But in the meantime, I don't mind swinging here at home every day.
Well, you're also a hooper, and I'm guessing you watched The Last Dance the last 10 minutes. So I'm sure you're also itching to hoop, play basketball. Is there a time that you're looking to come back out?
Man, a lot of the rims in the parks are missing, so really nobody's out there. But I mean, I miss hanging out with the guys and playing. That's the best team sport in my opinion. And that's when we really get to see a lot of our friends and our brothers. So, whenever all of us can get back out there, I'm down to play.
Well, I'm also down to play whatever that time may be. Looking forward to seeing you soon, EJ. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thanks, man.
The state of New Jersey will reopen more outdoor recreation after reopening the Jersey Shore beaches. Mayan Manzano Guerzon in Ciclaville.
Thank you, Ken. Let's begin with New Jersey's latest numbers of COVID-19 related cases. Total number of New Jerseyans tested positive, 148,039. New positive cases reported today, 1,735. New number of deaths is 83, and New Jersey's total fatalities is 10,435. Though New Jersey remains to be a hotspot, reporting thousands of new positive cases every day, the daily positive rate is reported to continue to flow downward with a slower rate of spread across the state. The overall trend line of hospitalizations also shows a steady progress. Now on to the headline. On Thursday, May 14, Governor Murphy announced that beaches and boardwalks along the Jersey Shore and lakes throughout New Jersey will be open with some restrictions. The executive order signed by Governor Murphy states that beaches and lakefronts must limit the number of visitors with access to maintain social distancing. Families and households are allowed to cluster together, but otherwise people need to be 6 feet apart. The opening will take effect on May 22, the beginning of Memorial Day weekend. However, organized games, contact sports, concerts, festivals, and fireworks will be banned, and rides and arcade games will remain closed. And earlier today, Governor Murphy signed another executive order allowing to reopen more outdoor recreation options that includes batting cages and golf ranges, shooting and archery ranges, horseback riding, private tennis clubs, and community gardens. All of these will take effect this Friday at 6 a.m. May 22. These announcements were made after the state made a robust program of testing and contact tracing to help mitigate any future positive tests for COVID-19 and to lessen the chances that any case will contribute to any escalation in the number of COVID-19 cases. We took all of these steps because the data we have been seeing over the past weeks has signaled that it is becoming safer for us to dip our toes back into the water, literally. And while we are not nearly out of the woods yet, and thousands of our fellow New Jerseyans remain in the hospital battling COVID-19, we are moving forward carefully, methodically, and responsibly, said Governor Murphy. In Sicklerville, New Jersey, May and Manzano Grzon, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Appreciate it, man. So with all these places reopening there in New Jersey, what's the current situation specifically in your area?
Yes, Ken, I saw it firsthand today when we went out to get my new prescription lenses. Good thing my optical shop was open. We noticed an apparent increase in vehicles on the road. And when we passed by this commercial plaza, going back home, we also noticed a lot of cars in the parking lot, possibly also picking up some food and coffee. So, New Jerseyans, specifically in my area, they're definitely now more comfortable going out, given all of these announcements from the governor and reopening of all these non-essential stores and public parks and golf ranges. So you must be happy too, because I know you're a golfer. So yeah, enjoy the golfing this summer.
Well, unfortunately, it's 5 hours away. So, if I really want to golf, I guess I'll have to make the drive. But I don't think I'm that desperate. However, speaking of driving, how far is the closest beach from you?
Oh, it's actually a 1 hour, 45 minutes drive, Ken. It's not that far. It's in the Atlantic City area. So we might consider going there in the summer.
That's awesome. And then, knowing that New Jersey is one of the hotbeds for positive COVID-19 cases, how do you personally feel your government is reacting as far as reopening a little faster than other states?
Ken, I believe that the state's action, the public officials' action are based on data, and they actually show that in their daily press briefing about COVID-19. You see the trend that they're really going down, the spread is going down, the hospitalizations numbers are going down. So yeah, I'm comfortable, but for my family, because I have a baby, we might not go to non-essential stores yet, as long as we are okay with our basic needs. But with the government actions, even though we are hotspot, I believe it's all based on logic and data and science.
Well, that's refreshing. Yeah, that's absolutely refreshing to hear. So we're guessing that we won't see you posting any pictures horseback riding this Friday.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we'll be very surprised if we see you horseback riding this soon, right? I mean, that's even though it's open, that would be a big surprise. But at the same time, too, I guess if it's open, it's open.
Right.
Thank you so much for your report, Mian.
Thank you, Ken.
The state of Delaware is now allowing church services with no more than 30% capacity. Mila Sambula of Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, has the details.
Thanks, Ken. My neighboring state of Delaware, as part of its reopening effort, Delaware Governor John Carney announced that the state of Delaware is now allowing houses of worship to resume in-person services with, of course, under strict physical distancing, no handshaking, hugging, or kissing. Only families and members of the same household can go together. Only 1 day per week is permitted for church service or gathering and will be restricted to no more than 30% of stated fire occupancy requirements. Services must be limited to 1 hour and 6 feet distancing for people not from the same household. Singing is permitted during services, but choirs are not allowed. Earlier this month, Delaware Governor announced that June 1st as the date for phase 1 reopening. Stay-at-home order will remain until May 31st. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, during one of the governor's press conference, he recognized the role of Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, led by the director of Randy Padfield and National Guard Colonel Frank Montgomery in response to the pandemic. FEMA's Commonwealth Response Coordination Center, or CRCC, is usually coordinating weather emergencies, but during this pandemic, they had been utilized by planning and coordinating efforts from state and federal agencies and partners. Here are some of the coordination efforts that FEMA manages during this crisis. Let's watch.
I'll give you some of the examples of the type of support that has been coordinated through the management structure in the Commonwealth Response Coordination Center. Our agency has assisted with, as the governor indicated, the establishment of community-based testing sites early in this incident. Originally, Pennsylvania was not slated to have any federally supported community-based testing sites, but working with FEMA and taking a look at the statistics and the case counts in the Commonwealth, we were able to lobby to be able to get a number of community-based testing sites established in the state. This includes sites in Philadelphia and Montgomery County, and it includes continued support of a state-run site that is in the Northeast in Luzerne County. We've also coordinated support across multiple agencies and counties for large-scale feeding operations. The impacts from COVID-19 and the crisis has been significant, especially with the amount of people that are out of work and the increased need on the food and food security. So our agency has coordinated across multiple agencies and counties and food banks to be able to assure that we have adequate personnel to be able to cover the increased feeding needs of the Pennsylvania citizens. I'll give you some of the examples of the type of support that has been coordinated through the management structure in the Commonwealth Response Coordination Center. Our agency has assisted with, as the governor indicated, the establishment of community-based testing sites early in this incident.
The National Guard also has been involved by coordinating with CRCC. During the conference, Colonel Frank Montgomery of the National Guard provided details of the Guard's role in varying facilities in the state. Let's watch it.
A summary of our missions that Director Padfield covered briefly state how the National Guard was involved. Started off with the repatriation of 21 passengers from the Grand Princess cruise ship, where we transported them from the Harrisburg airport to their homes. As the director mentioned, we established 2 community-based testing sites, and to date, we've tested over 12,000 citizens. We supported the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, packaging over 90,000 meals for families in need. We've transported various commodities across the Commonwealth to include PPE, medical equipment, and over 550,000 meal kits to numerous organizations. We assisted with setting up 2 alternate care sites.
Pima and National Guard works together from food distribution, nursing home aid, and mass testing sites. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Myla Simbulan, we live in interesting times.
Milo, thanks so much. So aside from Pima and the National Guard, who else is involved in helping your state, the state of Pennsylvania, in fighting the effects of the pandemic?
So they put together a team that includes physician assistants, nurses, medics, and general purpose workforce, and they work hand in hand together with PIMA and National Guard in providing staffing assistance, training on use of PPE, decontamination measures as needed. Those are some of the things that they've been doing. And it's really important that we have a team that will take those emergency issues due to COVID-19. This way, 911 centers will not be overwhelmed and will not have to worry that other emergencies will not be tended during this pandemic.
Understood. So how about there in your area, your specific city? Are people starting to venture out yet?
Oh yes. Every time I go out and my family, we go out a lot in our area just to walk around. And there's a lot. The more and more people are going out now. Even during the weekend, when I go to the store or to the garden center, there's a lot of gardens there. Especially whenever the weather outside is really nice.
Yeah, I think especially in these parts, it's when the weather's very nice. You got to take advantage of it, no matter the situation. Whether even if you have to wear a mask, right?
Exactly. Yes. You can really feel that people are happy going out. Especially whenever I go to Home Depot, there's more and more people out there buying plants, buying things that they need to fix their homes and things like that.
Is there a particular purchase or purchases that you're proud of during this pandemic that you've made that you probably, or a project that you probably would not have gotten to if there wasn't a pandemic?
Oh yes, I'm beginning to do gardening now, and I'm not really a green thumb. My family knows that whenever I touch a plant, it will eventually die. But I'm trying to get rid of that thought. I'm really trying my best to put a garden on my backyard. So me and my husband we're working together to put that together. So hoping that all the plants that we've put together will bloom, and we have vegetables and some herbs out there as well.
Awesome to hear. Well, I actually have some good news for you. If you stick around, we can help the Green Thumb. Natasha, who will be interviewing later, will have some eco-friendly solutions for you, and hopefully can help in growing your garden.
That's perfect. Yes, I will stick around and watch.
Thank you so much, Myla.
Thank you, Ken.
Salute to Heroes pays tribute to frontline responders and staff currently battling COVID-19. Marika Borja in North Hills has the story.
Thank you, Ken. Recently in Los Angeles County, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, with various government agencies, in collaboration with the Veterans Administration Greater Los Angeles Healthcare System, otherwise known as VAGLAHS, and other nonprofit organizations joined together in hosting a Salute to Heroes event to pay tribute to the frontline responders and staff currently battling COVID-19. This event was part of the National Police Week and Public Service Recognition Week, honoring the selfless women and men that serve and protect our country. This moving tribute was held at the West Los Angeles Veterans Affairs Medical Center in appreciation for the healthcare workers that worked tirelessly to care for veterans during this pandemic. At this moving tribute, Sheriff Alex Villanueva from the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department participated along with other sheriffs throughout Los Angeles County to thank our frontline heroes for their dedication in taking care of those in need, especially our veterans. This public tribute event lasted roughly 45 minutes with live performances of the national anthem, procession of motorcycles from the American Legion, and Condor Squadron soaring above the Medical Center campus. According to Jeffrey Cantrell, a radiology technologist from the VA Medical Center, he stated, "I felt beat down since this pandemic started. So to have something like this really invigorated me." Other government agencies that participated in the event and procession were the Santa Monica, LA, and Beverly Hills Police Departments, LA County Department of Mental Health, U.S. Army Recruitment, and members of the Mayor's Office, the 369th Air Force Recruiting Squadron, the National Guard, the LA City and County Fire Departments, and the California Highway Patrol. For the latest update on the numbers, Los Angeles County has 38,451 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 1,839 deaths, as announced by the LA Public Health Department. The state of California now has a total of 78,839 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 3,261 deaths, as recorded by the Johns Hopkins University and Medicine Coronavirus Resource Center. In North Hills, California, Maricar Borja, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Thanks, Maricar. So this tribute looked like it was very special experience. So how fitting was the event for the VA healthcare workers?
It was definitely a very moving event. Some of the VA medical staff are veterans themselves, and those that are not still share the distinction of fighting on the front lines in the war against coronavirus. So essentially, this Salute to Heroes event was a fitting honor.
That's awesome to hear. So it says here you're in North Hills, which is about, 30 minutes without traffic to Santa Monica? I mean, I'm from SoCal myself, and, usually this time, throughout the year, it's beach time. But, what's the situation for you, your friends, your family in regards to, going to the beach during this pandemic?
As far as what I'm doing and what my friends are doing and what my family are doing, we're definitely taking the safety precautions that LA County has been giving us, and the state as well. As far as LA County, it seems that the stay-at-home order has seemingly been extended. So I've just been hanging out at home and communicating with other family and friends through the internet or online.
Is it challenging, looking out your window and seeing that it's perfect California weather, but being, kind of having to stay inside?
Oh, definitely. I actually missed walking amongst the brick path in my university and actually talking to friends. And I mean, I haven't been to the beach in a very long time, but hopefully after everything, maybe I can go.
Absolutely. So you're a student. Is everything suspended for the moment, or are you guys finishing things online? Is next year a guarantee? What's the situation? I'm guessing you're Northridge.
No, I actually attend University of Southern California. So
Awesome.
I stayed in LA County as far as university goes, but my university is still planning a project restart to hopefully go back to campus in the fall. But we did end the spring semester online, and we just finished about last week or so, yes.
Well, best of luck to you and your studies there at USC, and to you and your family. Hopefully beach time is sooner than later. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you.
Coming up, learn how to make your home more eco-friendly. We'll be back.
Iba't iba man ang pinanggalingan, iisa lang ang pinangahawakan. Ang pangarap na makilala sa kanilang larangan. Mas titindi pa ang performances ng ating mga TNG aspirants dito lang sa pinakabago at pinakamalaking talent competition ng Philippine Television. Ito ang...
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Food Standard Juicy, ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Kubert, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Kubert, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Ulan Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. Participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint. Colorful protection for your home. Matimco. Matimco is wood. Wood is Matimco. Our Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer. Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Star Tollway is a 41.9-kilometer highway that stretches out from Santo Tomas, Batangas, all the way to Batangas City. An important component of the company's portfolio, the NAIA Expressway project is a 5.4-kilometer elevated expressway that connects the Skyway system to NAIA Airport terminals and the entertainment city. SMC Infrastructure's ventures also include other projects aside from the toll road business.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved NutriChocs with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa NutriChocs. Bakit natin ipinagluluto ang mga mahal natin? We want them to feel special. Some meaty luncheon meat that we serve. If your pure intentions had a taste, it would taste like Pure Foods. Pure sarap, Pure Foods luncheon meat.
Welcome back. You're watching Eagle News. I'm Ken Cruz in Fort Washington. Reducing our carbon footprint, environmentalists say, means a safer and longer future for us and our kids. One way to help in this cause is to start within ourselves, within our homes. But what does this actually entail? How big of a change is required to achieve what they call a totally eco-friendly lifestyle? Joining Eagle News today is Natasha Esguerra from Aston, Pennsylvania. She'll help us understand more about the concept of a greener home and why we need to start leading an eco-friendly lifestyle sooner than later. Thank you for joining us, Natasha.
Thanks for having me.
So, let's get straight to it. What does eco-friendly home mean?
Well, for our family, it means reducing our carbon footprint and reducing the amount of waste that we produce. so that we are as friendly to the environment as we can be.
Sure. So, like, why is there actually a need to make our homes eco-friendly?
I feel that there's a need because it's pretty evident that we are depleting the Earth's resources at a faster rate than we are able to replenish. So I feel that it's important for everyone to even just do a little part to help to slow down the speed at which we are depleting the Earth's resources. So in doing so, at least we can reduce our individual carbon footprints, and help to reduce the amount of greenhouse gases that are being emitted into the air, the amount of oil that's being used to produce various things, and in the process also we can find ways to be healthier in the ways that we are living as well.
Agreed. So, but I think people are motivated by the concept of like, what's in it for me? So what are the advantages of having a green home?
Well, for our family, we found that we are saving money. There is an initial investment in certain things, but in the long run, you definitely notice that you're spending less money on things such as bottled water or napkins or even toilet paper, depending on how far you want to go with going green. But we definitely can see that there's a positive impact on our wallets. And then also in terms of our quality of food, we grow a lot of our own vegetables each year. So we save money that way, and we know exactly where our vegetables are coming from. So things like that.
So then, as far as like short term, is that initial investment a lot, monetarily?
I personally feel like it's not that much. It just depends where you want to start. So for instance, one of the first things that we did for our family is that we stopped buying bottled water. Instead, we decided to invest in aluminum and glass containers to hold our water. And we have filtered water at home from our faucets. So we save money that way. Instead of spending $1 per bottle or buying cases and cases each week, we're able to reduce the amount of waste doing that. And this aluminum bottle probably was like less than $20, I would say. So I think that's an easy way to start. You could also invest in cloth napkins, which I feel is pretty cost effective. Maybe you spend $20 for like 2 dozen napkins, but then that's it for indefinitely because you're not buying packs of napkins every few weeks. Things like that.
Yeah, I think you're giving us some good examples, but you also have a presentation with specific examples in regards to an eco-friendly home. Is that right?
I do.
Awesome. So why not give us a nice show of what are some keys to an eco-friendly home? I guess with the example being your home.
All right. So perhaps we could start with the kitchen. Let's go to the next slide. We can start with alternatives to paper towels, which would be on the next slide. And I'll just give you a quick overview of the things that I do in my kitchen. So you can see that's my towel drawer there. The towels that I use in there can be used for dishwashing or to clean up spills. And there's different kinds that you can buy, but like if I buy a pack, they're all of these different options were under $20 for a nice pack of them.
Sure. Is there a specific place that has it cheaper than the other?
I honestly don't remember. But Amazon has a lot of good deals, and I guess it just depends on what your taste is. Because I think I bought these like over a year ago, but it's probably like 24 for like maybe like $15 to $20. And these are just terry cloths. Instead of grabbing 5 or 6 paper towels to clean up spills, we just grab this. And we can also use these for dishwashing. Same with the microfiber. If you like, these are a little softer. You could use on your car outside, like when you're,
Yeah, I mean, I think a big disclosure is like once you wipe something, don't wipe your face with it, right?
Oh, yes, that's true. Well, of course, you're going to put them in the washing machine. But yes, you wouldn't want to do that right after. These are clean, everybody. I use detergent. Okay. And then what else? There's also flour sackcloths that you could use. They're bigger. And we have kids in our house and they like to spill things like every day. So I have a bunch of these that I have, and some of them hang out on the floor, like in the corner for like a few days, to clean up spills as needed, and then they go in the wash. You could also just have old shirts or old clothing that, if you want to get a second use out of it, why not just use them as rags? So
sure. I think that's a very Filipino custom. I mean, I grew up, using a lot of shirts to wipe things for unas. So I mean, that's very common, and I agree that that's a great way to save money.
Yes. And then also on the next slide, I also have cloth napkins that I use for dinner. For all our meals of the day, we have like maybe 30, and we just have a little basket of them.
When you have 30 meals, or you have 30 cloth napkins?
I have 30 meals every day. Yes.
Awesome. That's great portion control.
Yes, I'm very blessed. But no, yeah, we have I want to say we have a stack of 30 napkins in rotation. So, at every meal we use, each of us uses a napkin. If we don't get it dirty, then maybe we'll use it for 2 meals. But they kind of just hang out. We don't put it back, but it's just like, this is our napkin for the day, right? And that saved a lot of money in the last year.
What if you have like boiling crab or like American barbecue with a lot of sauce? Is that
then you gotta use the heavy duty setting for your washing machine to get that out.
So how about when you have guests? Are they privy to?
We force them to also be eco-friendly. When you're in my house, no. So actually, we have small we used to, before the pandemic, we used to have small parties every so often, but sometimes we would tell our guests ahead of time, hey, so we're trying to be eco-friendly for this party, so please
bring your own napkins. Just kidding.
If we don't have enough plates, so one time we said, hey, just to be part of our eco-friendly themed party, could you bring your own plate? And they were all for it, because then they knew it was their plate and stuff. And then we washed everything before everyone went home. But I mean, there's like little waste, because birthday parties can add up to a lot of trash, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're all about, but this has also made our party smaller, because we're like, okay, well, we can't invite that many people if we want to be, eco-friendly. So, so our parties are intimate, but they're all
they're all virtual now anyway. So I mean, at the end of the day, all you got to do is take care of your household for the parties for the foreseeable future, right?
Yeah, yes. So we have our own little parties every day. But yeah, those are just some things that we do. And then on the next slide, we already talked about water bottles. That's a nice way to just start reducing your carbon footprint. And you will save a lot of money, and then you will also drink a lot of water, because sometimes when we're out, we're like, oh, let's buy that yummy Snapple, or things like, when you're out and about, you have more chances to buy whatever kinds of drinks. But if you have a water bottle on you at all times, then it's easier to quench your thirst and save money. And then you can also refill them, at water fountains and things like that. But maybe not currently, obviously. But in the fridge, when everything comes down. And then on the next slide, I also do my best to use reusable shopping bags. And the one there is very cute because it folds up into a little square. So I have a bunch of them that I keep in my car. Or I have this cute little pouch that I might carry in my purse, and it has a bunch of them in there.
Are those masks in there? Are those masks inside that? Did you create reusable masks also?
Oh, well, I do not have a sewing machine, but I have purchased reusable masks from small local businesses in order to be supportive during this pandemic.
Nice.
But
So, well, at least the Stair household. I was going to say, at least the Stair household is very consistent, so that's good to hear.
And then even the cloth napkins, when everything first started and we couldn't find any masks, we used like little scrunchies, and then we were able to go like this, right? So that was what we did. So we actually didn't. I haven't bought any masks per se. I've just been except for reusable ones. And then, sorry, I have a lot of and thens, but also real quickly. Wanted to go over an alternative to Ziplocs. So here
this one's interesting, please.
Yeah, so on Amazon, they have a bunch of different kinds of resealable silicone bags that you could use. And what you see on the screen is just my favorite type, because I've tried a few different types. But this type actually has like a separate plastic panel that you slide on to ensure the seal. You have to be careful with these, because if you use the kind that you have to pinch close, it's less likely to stay closed with continued use and washing. So I really recommend investing in something like this if you were to deal with that. And then in terms of disposing of things, at our household, we have a compost bin, which is the next slide.
I got two questions on those bags. One, are they dishwasher safe? And two, are they okay for the freezer?
Yes and yes. So what you see there are actually, if you look inside that one picture, this is for my freezer actually. So I've saved vegetable scraps to use them for vegetable soup stock or vegetable broth. Vegetable broth, yes. So I used to throw out like the stems of kale and like, you know, the parts of the veggies that you don't really want to eat, you know, that you don't usually cook. But now I'm like, oh, I should save those pieces and then put them in a broth so I get two uses out of it.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yes. And then compost is for the things you really can't use or the things that went a little bad. So we have a compost pile in the backyard, but in our house, we have a smaller little aluminum device that we put things in each day. And then once it fills up, then we dump it outside.
Does it have a scent?
Pardon?
Does it have a strange scent?
If you look at the open picture, there's a carbon filter that magically makes everything not smell. So that's good. When that is not in, then there is definitely a scent. But we try to throw things out every day so that there's not really things going bad inside the house. But that is a very good question.
Good to know. Thank you.
And then on the next slide, one of my favorite things that I'm doing now, especially with everything going on, there is a slide before that, I'm sorry. It's called replanting scraps. But I also have some samples in person. So basically, this is a romaine lettuce that I ate. And then I cut off the leaves because it was tall, and I ate them for salad. And then afterwards, I put them back in water, and then they grew more leaves.
Wow.
I think I still have another week or two before I can have another salad, but that is why I have like a lot of these on my windowsill. This is very easy to do. Like this is just like a little tofu container, and then you could have so I have like a little red leaf lettuce that's sprouting again, and then I have these guys, and I have some more downstairs. But it's a nice, easy little project to start with. Romaine really grows back easily. So
I feel like I need like 20 of those for like one meal for me, you know?
Yeah, one bite for each. But they're supposed to grow pretty big again. Not full size, but give them some time. They've come a long way, you know?
Cute little things.
Little things. And then you can also put them in the soil after a while if you'd like. So on the next slide, are just some examples of things you can replant. Onion sprouts. You can put a whole onion in the soil and then have it sprout out. And apparently the onion sprouts are actually good for soups and things like that. There's also, and then also if you'd like to make it easier on yourself, when you go to the store, you can buy hydroponic lettuce heads, which is shown there, or there's also the spring onions. I bought those like 3 years ago, and they had little roots in them, and I put them in the ground, and I never had to buy them again because they just kind of hang out even through the winter. They just hang out outside, and they're fine, and then they like come back to life, and they're humongous.
This is not your first time around the rodeo.
Well, we've been refining, like we've experimented, but every year we've grown tomatoes, and now starting last year I started growing more lettuce, and that's been awesome because lettuce costs a lot of money, like especially when you have them chop it up for you and things like that, and then it costs a lot of money, and it's not as fresh. But now it's like, oh, I'm hungry. I would like a salad. Let me go out on my deck and pick my own lettuce. This is the yummiest and the freshest, and there's no pesticides, right? Like that.
Is there a taste difference to that for you?
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Like when you just pick it yourself and you eat it, you're like, oh my gosh, you never want to go back to.
I think I can attest to that. I mean, it's I've been in Italy, right, where they're known for their tomatoes, and I think there's something about how they grow their tomatoes, how it's locally sourced, that tastes a lot richer. And so when I came back to the U.S., I was like, man, this food's not that good.
It's so sad when you get it in a little container. If you've had the fresh tomatoes off the vine, but you eat it from a container, you're like, there's no snap. There's no snap anymore.
No snap.
So sad. So yeah, tomatoes are easy. Tomatoes are easy to grow. I recommend them because I did not pay attention to my tomatoes for the first few years because I'd get too busy and they would just grow wild everywhere.
Sure. So it looks like we might be running on time, but we'd love to see all of these pictures. So could we do like a speed run on the pics?
Yes. So there's a picture of my deck. It's the home, just like an overview of where I plant all my things. And then after that, there's my container garden on the deck with romaine lettuce. You can see it's almost ready to eat. That's my outdoor stuff. And then I would suggest if you want to have a continuous supply of lettuce or greenery, try to grow new things every 2 months. I mean, every 2 to 3 weeks. So that, once the other ones run their course, you still have more. And then the next one's raised beds. You can see my kale. I love kale. Kale is amazing. And there's some strawberries there, bell pepper, tomato. And then next slide, blackberries. Those blackberries, I don't even pay attention to them. They just kind of do their own thing every year. They come back every year, so those are easy. And then bathroom things. I highly recommend a bidet, especially with toilet paper being in shortage. A bidet is amazing. And then you can also have family cloth, which could just be rags. But in lieu of toilet paper, you might want to consider family cloth. That's what I call it.
Yeah, that's a little scary, but I understand.
Well, if you're used to bidets, or in the Philippines, tabo, right? Then you're clean already. You're already clean.
Fair.
So then the family cloth is just pat dry. And then you're saving the environment. Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yes, you're already clean, so why,
Respect, Natasha, please.
And then, I mean, that's basically the gist of it. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to going green, and we've definitely seen it, especially during this pandemic. We weren't scrambling for toilet paper. We weren't having to do a lot of shopping for vegetables.
Because you guys were already self-sustainable, is that right?
Yes, ultimately. And that's good for the environment. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Well, I mean, are there, just to close off, I mean, like, it looks like here the benefits of growing green, environmentally friendly, save the moolah, healthier living, raising self-aware children. Are those the main four?
Yes. Oh, for me in my life, those are the things that I've seen the most benefit from. Like, and I think it's important, especially to raise self-aware children, so that when they grow up, you know, like they also do their best to take care of the environment for the next generation. And I feel like that's important for us now, especially with everything that's happening. That we got to do our part so that we can try to prevent things like this from, you know, happening again. But you know, it is what it is. You know.
Awesome. And well, I mean, this has been very enlightening to me, and I'm guessing it's also been very enlightening to our viewers. So we appreciate your time. I'll be looking for I'll be saving my empty tofu containers from now on. Appreciate it, Natasha.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
You too. Up next, now that summer is just around the corner, time to master the best hot weather drink, old-fashioned lemonade. We'll return shortly. This is Eagle News.
Hello, my name is Robin, and I'm 5 years old. My mom and dad said many people are getting sick. That is why we have to stay at home. That is why I cannot go to school. I cannot play outside, and I cannot even visit my friends. We can only go outside if we visit the doctor, or if we need to buy some food. And when we get home, we have to wash our hands. While I'm at home, I do my homework, clean up my toys, help cooking our food, and help my parents with their work. Please stay home so we can all play together again. Bye!
You're watching Eagle News. I'm Ken Cruz in Fort Washington. The weather is getting warmer, and in just a few weeks, it'll be summer officially. Wouldn't it be sweet to master how to make your own very old-fashioned lemonade? Eagle News correspondent Ivan Sanchez shares with us his recipe for this crave-for hot weather drink. Take a look.
Now that summer is upon us as we stay at home, it is a perfect time to make a pitcher of fresh squeezed, wholesome, old-fashioned lemonade. But one of the problems with making lemonade at home is that the sugar always settles at the bottom and that the flavor is uneven and often tardy. How can we avoid this? Continue watching to learn how. First, you will need fresh lemons. The San Fernando Valley used to be occupied by orange and lemon orchards, so you still might find some of these trees in our neighbors' yards. These are quote-unquote ugly homegrown lemons. Don't avoid them. They are just as delicious as store-bought ones and grown with a lot less chemicals too. These instructions are for making 2 quarts of lemonade. Extract approximately 6 ounces of lemon juice from the lemons. If you want your lemonade less pulpy, strain it while pouring it into a 2-quart container. Use a glass container for the initial mixing. You'll see why later. Pour the lemon juice into your container and add about a cup or so of water. Then pour sugar into a mug. Very important. Pour the same amount of sugar as the amount of lemon juice that you extracted. The mistake usually made here in making lemonade at home is that the sugar is immediately mixed with the lemon and water. Stop. What you need to do now is boil water, then pour the boiling water into the mug with the sugar in order to melt the sugar. And now avoiding the problem of sugar settling at the bottom of your lemonade or the lemonade not tasting evenly sweet. Here's a tip. White sugar works best. Brown sugar will give your lemonade an off color. I do not recommend any sugar substitutes. Whisk the sugar until it is mostly melted. Then add to the lemon juice and water. You might have to pour more boiling water into your mug, whisk, and add again to the container to get all the sugar out. That's why the container needs to be glass to withstand the heat of the boiled water. Then add water to your container, filling to the top, and mix. The taste will be lemony but not tart, sweet but not overpoweringly sweet, so you can adjust the sugar as per your preference. Then chill. While chilling, you could add a slice of cucumber or a sprig of mint for a more complex flavor. Then serve on ice and enjoy. In Los Angeles, this is Ivan Sanchez. We live in interesting times.
Well, it looks like I'll be making a trip to the grocery store tomorrow to get some lemons. Thanks so much, Ivan. A few reminders before we end today. Wash your hands, often with soap and water. Cover your mouth and nose if sneezing or coughing. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid contact with sick people. If you're sick, stay home and call your healthcare provider. Practice social distancing. Keep distance between yourself and others and avoid crowds. Wear a protective face covering when out in public. Let's continue to thank our frontline and essential workers with a round of applause. Thank you so much. That's it for today's EBC International coverage of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ken Cruz. We live in interesting times.
Sa albang panig ng Pilipinas, ako po si Erlo Bringas at ito ang Agila, Pilipinas. Sa ulo ng mga balita. Bilang ng naitalang COVID-19 cases sa bansa, umakyat na sa 12,718. Zero balance billing sa lahat ng mga pasyente ng COVID-19 isinusulong sa Kamara. Pagbubukas ng mas maraming airport sa bansa para tugunan ang pagpapauwi sa mga Filipino worker na stranded sa ibang bansa, inirekomenda ng isang mambabatas. At alamin ang mga masustansyang pagkain upang mapalakas ang ating immune system. Makit na sa 12,718 ang bilang ng naitalang COVID case sa bansa. Ayon sa DOH, ito'y matapos silang makapagtala ng 205 na bagong kaso ng virus infection sa nakalipas na 24 oras. Ang 83% o 145 na bagong kaso ay mula sa NCR, habang ang 16% o 52 na kaso ay mula sa ibang lugar, habang ang 1% o 8 bagong kaso ay mula naman sa Region 7. Umakit naman sa 2,729 ang bilang ng mga nakarecover mula sa COVID-19 dito sa bansa. Ayon ito sa DOH, matapos silang makapagtala ng 94 pang mga pasyente na nakarecover mula sa virus. May 7 namang naiulat na nasawi o may 7 namang naiulat na nasawi mula sa virus sa nakalipas na 24 oras. Dahil dito, aabot na ngayon sa 831 ang bilang ng nasawi dahil sa COVID-19.
Para po sa pinakahuling bilang ng mga COVID-19 cases sa bansa, kapagtala po tayo ng 205 na bagong kaso at umabot na po ang ating kabuuang bilang sa 12,718 cases. Sa bilang ng mga bagong kaso, 145 o 71% ay mula sa National Capital Region at 8 o 4% ay galing naman sa Region 7. Meron din po tayong 94 na bagong bilang ng mga kababayan na nakarecover mula sa COVID-19. Sa kabuuan, meron po tayong 2,729 na recoveries. Kasama po sa mga naitalang nakarecover ay ang mga pasyenteng nakakonfine at mga pasyenteng may mga positive, mild, and asymptomatic cases na nakarecover mula sa kanilang self-isolation at home quarantine. Ngunit ikinalulungkot po naming ibalita na 7 ang nadagdag sa bilang ng ating mga kababayan na pumanaw dahil sa COVID-19. Umabot na po sa 831 ang kabuuang bilang ng mga nasawi.
Makit na sa 250 ang bilang ng mga pulis na nagpositibo sa COVID-19. Ayon pa sa Philippine National Police o PNP, nananatili naman sa 4 ang bilang ng mga pulis na namatay mula sa COVID-19. 69 naman ang nakarecover mula sa nasabing virus. Nasa 754 naman ang naitalang probable cases ng COVID-19, habang nasa 538 naman ang suspected cases. Nagbabala ang Malacanang sa pagdoble ng kaso ng COVID-19 sa bansa kapag hindi sinunod ng publiko ang mga ipinatutupad na health standard protocols. Si Vic Sumintak sa report.
Aminadong Malacanang na magdodoble ang kaso ng COVID-19 positive sa bansa kapag hindi sinunod ng publiko ang mga ipinatutupad na health standard protocols sa ilalim ng Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine o MECQ. Sinabi ni Presidential Spokesman Harry Roque na nakakadismaya ang nangyari sa unang araw pa lamang ng pagpapatupad ng MECQ sa Metro Manila dahil dumagsa ang tao sa mga shopping malls at nakalimutan ang banta ng COVID-19 sapagat hindi nasunod ang mga health standard protocols, partikular ang social distancing. Ayon kay Roque, tiyak na biglang lolobo ang kaso ng COVID-19 sa bansa kapag patuloy na binabaliwala ng publiko ang mga guidelines na inilabas ng Interagency Task Force o IATF. Inahayag ni Roque na limitado lamang ang kakayanan ng mga hospital sa bansa sa sandaling biglang lumaki ang kaso ng COVID-19. Niliwanag ni Roque na ang mga hospital sa Pilipinas ay mayroon lamang 13,457 na total bed capacity, 9,468 isolation bed, 1,303 ICU, at 1,963 na ventilators.
Makikita po natin ang graph. Kaya ako po inuulit ito. Tignan nyo po, pababa na yung graph ngayon. Pero pagkatapos po ng Sabado, sigurado ako, tataas po yan ang napakatarik. Dahil nga po binaliwala natin ang social distancing at iba pang health protocols. Sa mga bagong namamatay, pababa na po sana on a daily basis, no? Pero bantayan po natin yan. Ngayong nasa modified ECQ na tayo at nagmatigas ang ulo, muli po yung tataas. At yan din po ang trend ngayon sa new recoveries. Sa new recoveries, bagamat madaming gumaling po sa atin, may bahagyang pagbaba po ng mga nakalipas na araw. Siyempre po, may relasyon pa rin yan doon sa mga dami ng mga bagong kaso ng COVID-19. Now, ito naman pong slide na ito, ay magpapakita pa rin, dahan-dahan pa rin po ang pag-akyat ng COVID-19 cases. Pero ito po, matapos ang 2 buwan ng ECQ. Kapag hindi po natin pinatupad ang social distancing, makikita nyo, ang laking tarik po ng taas niyang kurbadang yan. Na ngayon po, gradual lang sana. Ngayon po, kung talaga tayo magmamatigas ng ulo, at binaliwala na natin yung mga ginagawa natin mga nakalipas na buwan. Ang tanong, kakayanin ba natin kung napakadami sa atin ay magkakasakit? Totoo po, nananakot kami. Bakit po? Sa ngayon po, meron lang tayong 13,457 total bed capacity para sa mga magkakasakit. At ito naman po ay tingin ko sa Metro Manila, no? Ang isolation bed capacity natin ay 9,468 lamang. Ang ventilators natin ay 1,963 at ang ating ICU beds ay konti, 1,303 lamang. Yung isolation beds natin, yan po yung single na walang kasama sa room, pero ang ward beds natin ay 2,686 lamang. Ngayon, pag dumami po yung nagkasakit ng COVID-19, makikita nyo po, no, na talagang limitado lang ang ating mga kama sa ating mga ospital. Ang ating testing facilities sa ngayon po, 30 lamang. Bagamat, marami pa po ngayong nag-a-apply. Meron pang 109 total applicants, pero 76% po doon sa mga applicants na yon, hindi pa po sila stage 5.
Para sa Eagle News, Vic Samintak, we live in interesting times.
Zero balance billing sa lahat ng mga pasyenteng infected ng COVID-19. Sinusulong ng isang kongresista, si Eden Santos, sa detalye.
Dapat umanong bayaran ng Philippine Health Insurance Corporation o PhilHealth ang lahat ng bayarin sa ospital ng mga pasyente ng coronavirus disease 2019. Ayon kay Anak Kalusugan Party List Representative Mike Defensor, Vice Chairman ng House Committee on Health, nais nila na ipatupad ang no balance billing policy sa COVID patients, anuman ang packaging sa insurance coverage ng PhilHealth. Anya, sa ilalim ng NBB o walang dagdag bayad policy ay walang dapat singilin sa pasyente kahit na 1 sentimo sa buong panahon ng kanyang pagkaka-confine. Magugunita na pagkatapos ng April 14, 2020 ay case rate ng ipinatupad ng PhilHealth sa pagsagot ng hospital at treatment expenses ng mga pasyente ng COVID. Batay sa case rate, nasa 43,997 pesos ang babayaran ng PhilHealth para sa may kaso ng mild pneumonia, 143,267 pesos para sa moderate pneumonia, 333,519 pesos naman para sa severe pneumonia at 786,384 pesos sa mga critical pneumonia. Binigyan din ng kongresista na marami ang pondo ng PhilHealth, kabilang na ang bilyong-bilyong pisong annual national government subsidy para ipambayad sa lahat ng bayarin sa ospital ng mga pasyente. Para sa Eagle News, Eden Santos, we live in interesting times.
Dapat na magbukas pa ng mas maraming airport sa bansa para tugunan ang pagpapauwi sa mga Filipino worker na stranded sa ibang bansa. Itong sinabi ni Senator Richard Gordon sa sulat nito sa Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases. Anya, habang isasagawa ito ay dapat ding gawin ang kaukulang pag-iingat mula sa banta ng COVID-19. Maaari namang makatulong ang COVID-19 testing centers ng Philippine Red Cross sa Central Luzon at Central Visayas Region. Samantala, pinayagan naman ng Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines ang inbound international commercial flight sa Ninoy Aquino International Airport sa piling araw mula pa noong May 11. Nasa 400 naman kada araw ang bilang ng mga dumarating na pasahero. Local government unit nagkaloob ng tulong sa mga nasunugan sa Virginia Extension sa M. de la Cruz Street sa Pasay City. Para sa detalye, may report si Eagle News correspondent Jimbo Tejano. Jimbo.
Yes, magandang umaga. Ng Pasay sa mahigit 50 pamilyang nasunugan noong linggo sa Virginia Extension sa M. de la Cruz Street, Pasay City. Matapos silang bisitahin ng isang mall sa Pasay City, agad na tinungo ang Pasay North High School kasama ang ilang kawani ng LGU. Bago mamahagi ng ayuda, nagsagawa muna ng briefing si Pasay City Mayor Emmy Calixto Rubiano ukol sa gagawing distribution upang maipatupad ang social distancing. Sa pakikipagtulungan ng Bureau of Fire Protection ng Pasay, katulong ang mga opisyal ng barangay ay maayos na naipamahagi ang tulong sa mga pamilyang nawala ng tahanan. Paalala pa nila, kinakailangan anyang masunod ang health protocol ng Department of Health kung kaya't bawat kwarto sa nasabing paaralan na siyang nagsilbing evacuation center ay hindi lalampas sa 2 pamilya. Para sa Eagle News, Jimbo Tejano, we live in interesting times.
Ang iba pa mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Agila, Pilipinas.
Iba't iba man ang pinanggalingan, iisa lang ang pinangahawakan. Ang pangarap na makilala sa kanilang larangan. Mas titindi pa ang performances ng ating mga TNG aspirants dito lang sa pinakabago at pinakamalaking talent competition ng Philippine Television. Ito ang...
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Kubert, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee. Masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint. Colorful protection for your home. Matimco. Matimco is wood. Wood is Matimco. R Square Variables Incorporated, your trusted UPS supplier and UPS maintenance provider in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. CompuZell Computer Services, ID card and lanyard manufacturer. Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandmade Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
To date, SMC infrastructure remains at the forefront of Boracay Airport's modernization. The current and long-term developments include the construction of an international airport passenger terminal and the extension of the existing runway to better serve bigger aircrafts, providing tourists with world-class access to this slice of paradise.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Pinaiimbestigahan na ni Senador Amy Marcos sa Department of Labor and Employment at Trade and Industry ang ilang may-ari ng malalaking supermarket sa bansa. Ito'y dahil sa hindi pagtalima sa utos na bigyan ng personal protective equipment ang kanilang mga empleyado para maprotektahan sa posibleng pagkahawa ng virus. Sinabi ni Marcos na batay sa kanilang pagsisiyasat, ang mga empleyado ng ilang supermarket gaya ng cashier, bagger at promodizer ang bumibili ng kanilang PPE at iba pang gamit na panlaban sa virus tulad ng alcohol at face mask kahit may utos ng DTI at DOLE na sagutin ng employees ang gastusin para rito. Giniit ni Marcos na dapat sagutin ito ng mga negosyante dahil kakarampot lang ang kinikita ng mga empleyado pero maaari pang malagay sa panganib ang kanilang kalusugan. Hindi mo na dapat ituloy ang pagbubukas ng klase habang walang isinasagawang COVID-19 mass testing para sa mga estudyante at iba pang personnel. Ito ang panawagan ng Alliance of Concerned Teachers o ACT Philippines sa pamahalaan lalo na sa Department of Education o DepEd. Ayon sa grupo, hanggat hindi nakakasiguro sa kaligtasan ng mga estudyante at guro ay hindi dapat magbukas ng klase. Una nang inanunsyo ng DepEd ang school opening sa August 24 at magtatapos ng April 30, 2021. Batay sa Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, walang face-to-face classes ng mas maaga sa August 24. At kung ito ay papayagan, dapat ay nasa 15 hanggang 20 lamang na estudyante ang nasa loob ng classroom. Hinikayat ng ACTS OFW Coalition of Organization ng Interagency Task Force at Overseas Worker Welfare Administration na bilisan ang COVID testing sa mga umuuwing overseas Filipino workers. Sa harap ito ng mga ulat na umano'y pagtakas ng ilang OFW na positibo sa COVID-19 mula sa kanilang quarantine facility. Ayon kay dating Congressman John Bertis, chairman ng ACTS OFW Coalition of Organizations, tiwala siya sa Philippine National Police na susundin ang tamang protocol sa pagtetrace sa mga tumakas na OFWs na hinihinalang positibo sa virus at lumabag sa quarantine procedures. Mapila naman ito sa mga OFW na habaan ng pasensya at sumunod sa ipinatutupad na regulasyon at quarantine procedures ng gobyerno. Anya, ang nakakamatay na novel coronavirus ay hindi dapat maliitin at ipagwalang bahala ng ating mga kababayang OFWs. Sa pagharap niya ng mga tao sa new normal ay nananatili pa ring pangunahin sa prioridad ang public health, kaya ang bawat isa ay may responsibilidad na tiyakin ang kaligtasan ng lahat. Bahagi ng kalsada sa Vincenzo, Sagun, Zamboanga del Sur natabunan ng mga gumuhong lupa dahil sa magdamag na ulan. Si Ferdinand Libor sa detalye.
Halos kalahating oras na di madaanan ang barangay road ng barangay Makulay ng bayan ng Vincenzo, Sagun sa Zamboanga del Sur matapos humambalang ang lupa sa kalsada bunsod ng landslide. Ayon kay Marjon Laurio, Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction Management Action Officer ng bayan ng Vincenzo, Sagun, dahil sa nararanasan na malakas na mga pag-ulan sa nabanggit na bayan, kaya gumuho ang lupa sa bulubunduking bahagi ng nasabing lugar kung saan humambalang ito sa buong kalsada.
Nakuha namin yung report sa pamamagitan ng tawag kagabi. Okay. So kaya malakas ang ulan, so kaya ng umaga namin niresponde. So sa laki ng landslide, so hindi siya kayang tapusin isang oras. Sa ngayon, hindi po siya natapos kasi nga masyadong malaki yung calamity na nangyari doon.
Dahil sa laki ng landslide, kaya ginagamitan na ito ng backhoe ng lokal na pamahalaan para mabilisan ang pag-alis ng lupa na may kasamang malalaking mga bato. Umabot umano sa halos kalahating oras bago ito maaring daanan ang kalahating kalsada sa mga motorista.
Yung buong kalsada talaga yung naharangan ng yung mga lupa at saka may kasamang malalaking bato, kaya yung mga motor at saka yung mga malalaking bus ay hindi pwede makadaan doon. Pwede na sang daanan yung kalahati ng daan ay pwede nang pagdaanan ng mga sasakyan.
Panawagan ni Laurio sa mga residente sa bayan na nakatira sa mga landslide prone area na kung mararanasan ang walang tigil na pag-ulan ay agad lumikas sa mga itinalagang evacuation center.
Ang amin ang hiling sa mga taong medyo yung bahay nila ay nasa ganong klaseng prone area for may malakas na ulan, talagang dilikas na sila sa mga bahay na kung saan hindi sila pwedeng matamaan ng kahit anong ganong pangyayari.
Wala namang naitalang casualty sa naturang insidente. Mula rito sa Zamboanga del Sur, para sa Agilus, Ferdinand Libor, we live in interesting times.
Naragdagan pa ang bilang ng gumaling sa Cebu City mula sa COVID-19. Samantala, pagsasagawa ng COVID-19 strategic massive testing sa Lapu-Lapu City at Mandaue City nasa 70% na. Si Joey Morales ng DYFX Radio Agila, Visayas sa detalye.
Umabot na sa 102 ang recovered patients ng COVID-19 sa Cebu City. Nakapagtala naman ng 24 na mga recovered patients sa Cebu City. 23 rito ay mula sa Barangay Luz at isa naman sa Barangay Pardo na isang 1-year-old baby boy. Nakapagtala din ng 21 mga bagong kaso ng COVID-19 sa lungsod. Subalit isa naman ang nasawi na mula sa Barangay Tejero. Ang mga bagong kaso ay mula sa Barangay Sawang Calero na may 12, 3 sa Barangay Careta at 6 naman sa Cebu City Jail. May kabuuan na ngayong 1,740 ang bilang ng mga COVID-19 positive sa Cebu City. Patuloy namang nakikiusap ang alkalde ng Cebu City na patuloy na sa katuparan ng stay-at-home policy, maintain social distancing at panatilihin ang good hygiene para malabanan ng COVID-19. Sa Mandaue City naman, nasa 112 na ang kaso ng COVID-19. 6 ang nakarecover at 3 ang nasawi. Ang Cebu City at Mandawi City ay kasama sa idineklarang mag-extend ng enhanced community quarantine hanggang Mayo 31 ng taong kasalukuyan batay sa Resolution number 37 ng Interagency Task Force. Samantala, nakuha na ng Lapu-Lapu City at Mandawi City ang mahigit 70% ng sumailalim sa massive rapid testing sa kani-kanilang mga lungsod. Sa 10,477 na target ng Lapu-Lapu City na siyang 10% ng kanilang populasyon, 7,732 na ang sumailalim sa massive rapid testing o nasa 73.80%. Halos makaisandaang porsyento naman ang Mandawi City sa bilang na 11,561 na ang kanilang target ay 11,632 o nasa 99.39%. Ang Cebu City ang may pinakamababang turnout na nasa 35.38% lamang o 6,205 sa 17,536 na kanilang target na matesta. Ang Strategic Massive Testing ay proyekto ng Presidential Assistant for Visayas Affairs na pinangungunahan ni Secretary Michael Dino sa ilalim ng Project Balik Buhay o PBB. Yan ang ating report mula dito sa Visayas Region. Ako si Joey Morales para sa Eagle News, and we live in interesting times.
Naglabas na ang Film Development Council of the Philippines o FDCP ng kanilang guidelines para sa mga magsasagawa ng taping at mga shooting sa ilalim ng tinatawag na New Normal. Ayon sa FDCP, nabuo ang memorandum na ito sa pakikipagtulungan ng Department of Labor and Employment o DOLE, Department of Health at Interagency Task Force. Nakasaad sa Memorandum Order Number 6 Series of 2020 na ang bilang ng mga film workers o mga tao sa set ay hanggang sa 50 katao lamang ang papayagan. Sa pamamagitan ng producers ay ipapatupad sa lahat ng gumamit ng personal protective equipment o PPE tulad ng face mask at gloves. Dapat din nilang panatilihin ng mga worker ang 1 meter distance sa isa't isa at ang mga kamera ay 2 meters na pagitan mula sa mga talent. Hindi rin muna pinapayagan ang eksenang nangangailangan ng malalaking bilang ng crowd tulad ng concerts, rallies, parties at championship games. Ang meetings, castings at press con o storycon ay gagawin online, gayon din ang iba pang work arrangements. Dapat din nila na mayroong certified medical personnel sa set at kukuha ng temperature check at magpapatupad at magpapaalala ng health precautionary measures kapag nakaligtaan ito. At bago pumunta sa shooting ay dapat mag-submit ng health declarations na negatibo ito sa COVID-19, lalo na mga artista dahil magtatanggal sila ng face mask at gloves kapag nag-roll na ang camera. Ipapatupad din ng mga sanitation sa mga lugar na ginagamit sa shooting tulad ng studios, wardrobe at makeup rooms, holding areas at bathrooms. Ang hindi susunod sa mga nasabing protocol ay pahihinto ang ginagawang taping o shooting. Ang iba pa mga detalye tungkol sa nasabing guidelines na maaaring makita sa website ng FDCP. Sa isang statement naman, nangako ang ilang mga film industry at owners sa pangunguna ng Philippine Motion Pictures Production Association o PMPP na susundin nila at sila ay makikipagkaisa sa ibinabang order sa kanilang pamahalaan para na rin malabanan ng COVID-19. Palakasin ang immune system. Ito ang payo sa atin ng Department of Health ngayong patuloy ang paglaganap ng COVID-19. Ano nga ba ang dapat nating kainin? Ito ang ibabahagi ni Eagle News correspondent Grace Bermal.
Dahil sa banta sa ating kalusugan gaya ng pinangangambahang COVID-19, mahalagang palakasin natin ang ating immune system. Kumbaga ito kasi ang pinakasundalo ng ating katawan pero hindi laban sa terorismo kundi laban sa sakit na dulot ng viruses gaya ng COVID-19, bacteria at toxins ng ating katawan na kailangang i-flush out. Kung mahina ang depensa ng ating katawan kasi ay madali tayong kapitan ng impeksyon at mga sakit. Mismong ang Department of Health ang nagpayo sa atin na dapat ay magkaroon ng malakas na immune system. At isa sa mabisang paraan ay ang pagkain ng masustansyang pagkain gaya ng gulay at prutas na talaga namang kailangang kasama sa ating healthy diet. Kadalasan sa mga prutas na ating nakikita ay iba't ibang kulay na talaga namang eye-catching at nakaka-apekto rin sa ating damdamin. Kung bakit ito nagbibigay sustansya ay base pala sa kani-kanilang kulay. Para sa dagdag kaalaman, may ilang kategorya ang kulay ng mga ito. May pula na kadalasang nakikita sa apples, strawberries at kamatis na mayaman sa lycopene at nakapagpapababa ng blood pressure. Kulay orange at yellow naman ang kadalasang nakikita sa prutas na orange, papaya at lemon na mayaman sa beta-carotene na nakatutulong na labanan ang pagkabulag dahil sa macular degeneration. Ang mga bayabas, green apple at green grape ay mayaman sa nutrients gaya ng vitamin C, lutein at calcium na mainam para sa sakit ng tiyan at bituka. Ang mga prutas gaya ng kulay ube o purple at blue gaya ng ubas, blueberries at ube ay may sangkap na resveratrol at flavonoids ay mabisa rin para labanan ang paglaki ng tumor at pamamaga ng katawan. Hindi magpapatalo ang maputing prutas gaya ng saging at white peaches na may sangkap na anthocyanthines na mabuti para sa ating muscles, nerves at kidneys. Bukod dito, ang mga pigment na tinataglay ng mga gulay at prutas gaya ng carotenoids ay nakapagbibigay ng higher levels of optimism base na rin sa pag-aaral sa Australia. Sa panahon ngayon, ugaliin natin kumain ng masusustansyang gulay at prutas para sa makulay, masaya at mahabang buhay. Mula sa Pangasinan, para sa Eagle News, ako si Grace Bermal. We live in interesting times.
Para sa iba pang mga balita, maglagon lang sa www.eaglenews.ph at sumubaybay sa aming mga social media platforms.